Hey there, Lance Crone here, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to do pull-ups even if you have never done a single one. So as the title suggests, to do this, to be able to succeed at pull-ups, the first thing you got to do is be negative. Obviously a play on words here. There are three different phases when executing any sort of exercise, and you've got your negative, your positive, and your static. Put in scientific terms, the negative is the eccentric phase, the positive is the concentric phase, and the static or stasis is going to be held in one position. So what happens is that most people think that they cannot do a pull-up simply because they go to the positive phase alone and they can't go from a dead hang all the way to the top, so which is using the positive, the concentric phase. So the problem is that this only affects one of the three phases of the mechanics that we want to think about. So my suggestion for you is to use some of the other two phases. Particularly, we want to use the negative phase, which is the eccentric. So what I mean by that is, rather than starting from a dead hang and trying to convince yourself to pull yourself up from a dead hang, what we want to do is get some sort of boost, a chair, something that's going to elevate us so that we're starting off in a static position. So I want you to hold, just like what, if you remember being a kid in PE and you would hold and do the static hold. So we do that so that we're gonna be building up those muscle fibers and recruiting them. I'll try not to get too in depth here, but the fact is that those three phases are going to be essentially getting more fatigued differently in different orders than one another. So the concentric phase is usually going to be one of the weakest, and it's going to be one of the ones that fatigues quickest. So if you don't have the strength to pull yourself up, it doesn't mean that you don't have the strength to hold yourself and to slowly control yourself down in the negative phase. So surprise, surprise, the best thing about this is that the negative phase of a workout or of an exercise is actually the one that recruits the more muscle fibers. And usually that's where you're going to notice some soreness from going using time under tension, which is some of the things that I've covered in some of my other videos. But the key here is to go into, and this is an amazing technique that will really help you. You want to focus on aiming for holding up approximately 8 to 10 seconds in a static position. Now make sure that you're not holding up like this, because what happens is you do this and your back or your biceps really aren't doing any of the work. So you're holding it there, you might feel like, hey, this is awesome, but you're actually not executing the muscles, meaning that you won't get stronger, you won't get yourself to be able to do a real pull-up. So we're going to hold ourselves, but we're going to keep some distance. So we're going to be like this here. We're going to hold ourselves in this position, and whenever we start feeling that shaking that we're fatiguing is whenever we're going to begin the lowering or the negative process. So I would aim for approximately 10 seconds to hold static. We should be able to do that. Once we hit this point, now what we're going to do is we're going to aim for between 4 to 8 seconds on the negative. So we're going to take like this, 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 8 and hold. Then we're going to use a chair or whatever we got to boost ourselves up originally. We're going to get back up there, we're going to hold again, and then we're going to do the same. Now there's going to be a point that once you get to your 4th or 5th little set or rep, you're going to get up there and it's going to feel freaking impossible nearly to hold on to this thing. So at that point, that's okay. You've totally fatigued out the static or stasis part of the exercise. So just focus on the negative. So this way here, we're still recruiting muscle fibers and telling the brain basically to send some IGF-1, which again, I won't get into, but it's going to recruit muscle fiber. It's going to allow you to get more density. More muscle density equals more strength typically. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna lower ourselves about 8 seconds until we can't even lower ourselves to that. Once we get like 3 seconds where we're just basically just like a sinking rock in the water, that's whenever we've hit our full fatigue on both the eccentric and the static. So I would recommend doing this maybe every other day. You can do it every day, but I think that doing negatives like that, even though it's body weight, you can still get yourself pretty dang sore. So try this out, try it a couple times a week. I would imagine, just like some of my other clients, that if you focus and you do this right, and you're doing it consistently 2 to 3 times a week, treat it just like any other workout. Do this in addition to your workout. This is going to, within 30 days, allow you to be able to work on getting your first pull-up from a dead hang all the way up. Once you get to the point that maybe after 15, 20, 25 days, somewhere around there, you're going to start noticing that it feels a lot easier to control yourself on the way down and to control yourself in that holding position. And again, I would aim for somewhere around 4 to 5 reps minimum of doing this, and that's doing the negatives. Much more than 5 reps, then you're going to start getting yourself to where it just feels monotonous and tedious, which we don't want. But once you get into that 2 to 3 week range, then I want you to go ahead and try doing a full pull-up. You may not be able to get it, that's okay, but see if you notice any sort of advancement. Were you going from a dead hang and now you can get halfway up? Can you get 3/4 of the way up? Could you get a full pull-up? If you can't get there yet, that's okay. Keep working on the negatives. So I do this as a plateau buster on nearly everything that I do whenever I want to go to the next level for my clients or for myself. So try this out. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, please be sure and like it. Give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel where I'll be posting tons more videos like this to help you out. So again, if you want to do well with pull-ups, be negative. Thanks, guys.